Am I streaming? Let's check. Let's probably bring this up over here. Hopefully I'm online. Check. Well, I'm going to assume that I'm online and that I'm streaming. And I didn't know how to broach this subject, and I kind of did in a video a while ago. I want to talk about the Meg White controversy that is spreading all over Twitter. Now, I'm not on Twitter, thankfully, and I guess if someone is here and could please let me know if this is working or not. I'm hoping it is. It says from my OBS that it is. So I'm just going to assume this is working. I guess some dude on Twitter decided to, hey, Mo Green's glasses. I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, man? Okay, it is live. Everyone can hear me. Sweet. So I guess a critic, this is a critic, writer Lachlan Markay, I guess is how you say his name, made this tweet, and it has blown up the age-old debate on if Meg White is a good drummer or not. And having a YouTube channel, it's weird because I will find out about things happening in the world through old videos blowing up. I actually found out about Joey Jordison dying when I woke up one day, and his video, the video I had done on him, which was from a year or two before that, had like 5,000 views that day, and I was like, oh no, something's happened. Well, then I noticed that, because again, I'm not on Twitter, I noticed that my Meg White video from at least, I think it's 3 years ago, was blowing up again and had thousands of views in a day. And I was like, oh no, did something happen to Meg White? And then I found out that some dude went on Twitter and said the following about Meg White, and has really drawn the big line in the sand on your opinion on her as a drummer. And this is the quote. The tragedy of the White Stripes is how great they would have been with a half-decent drummer. Yeah, I've heard all the, but it's, quotations, but it's a carefully crafted sound, man. Takes. I'm sorry, Meg White was terrible, and no band is better for having shitty percussion. Okay, now, that last part's actually right. No band is better for having shitty percussion, but Meg White is not shitty percussion. I think this is wrapped up in the singularity of social media performances. Like, I think, and I talked about this with Andrew Rooney on our podcast, I think that so many people think that like playing music is like a singular pursuit, because that's kind of like how most people are seen playing these days. The majority, if you think about it, is one drummer or one bass player or one guitar player sitting and playing a cover on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. And I always make the correlation between woodworking and music, because I'm a woodworker on the side as well. I have a pretty decent, thriving woodworking business. If I were to just show you a board, say like a board, I'll just bring you a board. And here's a board, and it's 36 inches long, and it's 3/4 inch wide, and it's thick, and it's 6 inches wide. You'd say, well, that's a board. But when I put those boards with a whole bunch of other stuff, I may have a nice a piece of wall decor, like a bookshelf. It's something I just made, was this bookshelf for my house. And it wasn't about just that piece of wood. That is, nothing is special about that piece of wood. It's just one flat piece of wood. But when you put it with other things, it becomes something bigger than that. And the White Stripes are the perfect example of that. You know, is Meg White Dave Weckl? No, and I'm goddamn glad she isn't. I think we as and this is where I think YouTube shred culture has come into the problem here, is that we mistake virtuosity for art, and it's not. Mrs. Junk Drummer is a chef, and she's a really good chef. That's why I'm getting fat. And never have I thought, wow, this food that you cooked the family tastes better because it was very difficult to make. It's just not how it works. And that describes Meg White's drumming for me. Just because it's not quote unquote difficult doesn't mean that it's not great. And this fella has thrust Meg White into the limelight again, which is good because I think a lot of people will probably find the White Stripes if they didn't already know them. White Stripes are one of the best bands ever. Jack White's kind of one of the last rock stars. I mean, that's a fucking rock star, right? And she was a fucking rock star. Proof's in the pudding, right? And so every great musician that you know, I know today I read that Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello came out in defense. And of course, Jack White did some really poetic way to defend her. And then, you know, Questlove, who is, let's be honest, like the tastemaker of the drumming community, he came out and really, what's up, Andrew Rooney? I was just talking about you. You know, when Questlove comes out and defends a drummer, then you probably should just shut the fuck up and listen, right? This guy it's probably a half-assed troll at this point. Maybe he believes that. I tell you what, like that video that I did almost 3 years ago has had a bunch more commenters over the last week, and a lot of those same people who say that because she's not technically a virtuoso, that her art is less valuable, I guess. That's so fucking dumb. It's such a smooth brain take that just because something is difficult, it's a better piece of art. Andrew, I wish I had a way to just put you on this stream, but I barely stream my shit. But yeah, oh God. Andrew Rooney will never let the "that's what she said" joke die. It will live on forever on your channel, sir. Cheers to you, by the way. But just go listen to the White Stripes. Just listen to them. Listen to the songs. They're some of the best songs that's been recorded in the last like 30 years. They're just, everything's great. Every record's great. I know that Anthony Fantano has a few tracks I guess he's not too happy with, but I've never heard a bad White Stripe record or song. And I also want to say that, like, I am a free speech extremist. We should be allowed to say whatever the fuck we want to, anytime, anywhere. As long as it's not incite to violence, right? There's, of course, laws for that. But I think Homeboy probably should shut the fuck up. Because the quality of musician that has come to her defense should invalidate anything that guy said. What's up, Tim Connolly Drums? I've got 2 YouTube drummers in here. And Andrew Rooney says his take on Meg White is incoming. Yeah, I mean, you should probably do a video, probably, right? But like I did that video. Man, that video really aged well, because it really was just me white knighting for her, because I love everything that she plays. I think it's wonderful. It's just low down, dirty, badass rock and roll. And I don't give a fuck that she can't play a 5-stroke roll. She probably can't, but it doesn't matter, because those tracks are amazing. You would never send a steak back and say, it was too easy for the chef to make this steak. Take it back. It's not good. The idea of something being difficult to pull off It's fucking dumb. It's just a smooth brain take there, whatever this guy's name is. I bet you he vastly regrets that tweet, which is another reason why I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on many social medias. If there's anyone here, what do you all think about Meg White? I think it's so easy to just say, now, if Meg White was in a crappy band and the songs weren't great, then we wouldn't be talking about it, I guess. But she was in a band that's going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think they'll get back together eventually. I think that, let's see what Chuck Farley says. For me, it doesn't matter how in the pocket a musician is. If they can create the product they are trying to achieve and do it well, I'll give it a chance. That's exactly how you should be dealing with this. That's exactly, I wonder if I can turn slow mode off. Something difficult to pull off. That's what she said. Andrew Rooney just come here to be Michael Scott, the New Zealand Michael Scott. You know, Andrew, I was always wondering, because you all are so nice down there, you seem to be like the Canada of the Australian continent. Like, The Office is really mean. It's such a mean-spirited show. Like, how is it that popular down there when it's just so mean? I mean, it's got a lot of heart. It's one of the best shows ever. But I always wonder, you think of enough, we've got a Canadian and a New Zealander, a Kiwi, if you will. I always wondered how that would fly in those countries. Because, man, Michael Scott's dumb and mean in a lot of that show. But going back to difficulty or what have you, I can tell you that a lot of times when things are super difficult, that's the reason why I kind of don't do a whole lot of progressive, although I'm going to do Polyphia soon. That stuff doesn't really touch me at all. Yeah, I do have slow commenting on. I wonder if I can fix that. Can I fix that in the middle of this stream? Can I edit? Let's see. Bear with me while I try to be a boomer and figure out how to do this. Slow mode is now off. There we go. Good. Oh, whoa. Here's a lot. Okay, there we go. So Simple Mind Sage says, yeah, I wanted to have a conversation with y'all about this. So Andrew Rooney says, okay, you have slow commenting. Okay, but it's no one's biz how good Meg is. She's a rock star and people critiquing her or not. That's a good point. Simple-minded Sage. If Jack White wanted a more proficient drummer, he would have gotten one or played drums himself in the studio. Jack's actually a really good drummer. That track he played on, and he produced it for the James Bond movie where it's him and Alicia Keys, I think, and he plays drums on that. It's like a halftime shuffle. That track's great. He's a great drummer. He's a drummer in Dead Weather. I don't know if they're still around. Chuck U. Farley says, Chuck Farley, for me, most of my favorite artists are overlooked simply because they look different or sound different. I mean, maybe. And yeah, Andrew Rooney it don't matter how complicated drumming or music is. It's art. That's really the ball game, right? All these people, man, Seven Nation Army is perfect. That's a song that I teach a lot of my kids. It's just fucking perfect. It doesn't matter. No data. The stream will end shortly unless you restart it in your streaming software. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm still going, right? Yeah. Hopefully it won't end. Oh no, stream status is poor. Tim Connolly says, take Ringo, for example. He's the greatest song drummer ever. Pisses me off when people think otherwise. Megan is a song drummer as well. Yeah, and that's really the drummer that producers like. You know, they were the kings and queens of producer drumming, right? I may have to restart the stream. What if I restart? Is my video still going, Tim or Andrew? It's saying that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Maybe you should have tried this later when fewer people were online here at my house. Well, oh, okay. I think we're good now. I think we're back. Are we back? Okay, noted. We're gonna. Is someone in here to tell me? You know what? I'm gonna end this stream.